I've always thought it's a funny talking point that Hollywood controls the Democratic Party. I cannot believe that after everybody else getting asked for 13 days, what they thought, they finally, all of a sudden, everybody freaks out because George Clooney. It was like, I was like, okay, yep, the Hollywood does control the Democratic Party.
Well, first of all, this is exactly why Americans distrust big government, big tech, big media, and big Hollywood. They have led the ultimate cover up of President Biden and his administration's failures and inadequacies, hands down. I mean, we have seen gaffe after gaffe. Joe Biden falling down the stairs, falling off his bike, having to take the little stairs on the back of the plane, saying he beat Medicare, huge blunder. I mean, her report pointed everything out. So this is not new information. And so it's just amazing to me that now, because of George Clooney making this comment, everyone kind of freaks out and doubles down. But I don't know if you also heard the timing of his call is really interesting because he called the White House last month to complain to President Biden and his staff the criticism of the International Criminal Court issuing arrest warrants for top Israeli officials. His wife helped push for the ICC to prosecute Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu for alleged war crimes, and she could face U.S. sanctions if Biden signed the House-passed legislation. So, he calls the Biden administration sticking up for his wife, doesn't like the result, and now, he's got a bone to pick, and this is where he's going to pick it to kind of fall in line with the rest of the Democrat uniparty.
Yeah, but see, the thing, Jenny Beth, that I think is interesting is that, like, they've asked Pelosi, they've asked everyone else, and suddenly George Clooney says it, and then everyone goes, oh, my God, we got a problem. And I'm like, are you, like, wait a second, what about Nancy Pelosi's hedging her bets, Chuck Schumer? I mean, like, and suddenly it's Clooney that they all are like, oh, my God, now we got to pay attention. This is serious. It's Clooney.
It's Clooney. And here's the thing. Why are we supposed to believe Clooney now? He did the fundraiser a few weeks ago. He's saying that he realized that the person he saw at the fundraiser is the same one as he saw at the debate. Okay, well, why didn't you come forward then? Why didn't you say something before the debate? You were perfectly fine seeing how he can't even keep up with what's going on around him. You were fine knowing that and allow him to continue and to raise money for him then. The only reason you don't want to do it now is because you got caught along with the media, along with the Democrats, along with Pelosi, along with Schumer. You're all caught. Now the whole country can see these weren't cheap fakes when Biden was having trouble over the last several months. It's real. He is a problem. He shouldn't be in charge of the nuclear codes. And the only reason they're coming out right now is because they're caught. And George Clooney was caught as well. Why should we believe him? He was perfectly okay allowing the whole entire world to let this man run our country without raising any alarm bells just a few weeks ago. So yeah, it's just totally ridiculous.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I read this thing and he says in it, he wasn't the same Joe Biden that I saw when I held the fundraiser. And I go, oh, so you didn't say anything back then because why? All these people coming out of the woodwork. And I'm so glad you brought this up because I tweeted it out this morning where it's like, wait, so you all knew the only problem, the difference now is exactly what you just said, Jenny Beth, which is, oh, suddenly we all got caught. Like and I said this, if the debate hadn't happened, would any of you guys be saying anything? And the answer is no. They're just sort of like, oh, crap, you all found out what we've known, so now we have to act like, God, we care about this. But Chris Stigall, I want to kind of pull on something that Ashely mentioned, right? George Clooney had no problem calling the White House about his concerns with the International Criminal Court and its prosecution of Israelis, right? But when it comes to my friend, he has no problem just printing it in the New York Times. And I kept thinking to myself, for all the crap that we dealt with in the Trump White House, in some degree, rightly so, like I'm not saying about the infighting and the backstabbing. It's like, here's your good friend who the idea of here's how you're going to tell your good friend you've got a problem. I'm just going to write it in the New York Times and I'm going to call Obama first and then I'll print it. Nice friend.
Yes, you said something interesting that I really have
been. I say a lot of things that are interesting, Stigall.
Well, one in particular, and I think this is the thing that I've been pummeling for about a month now. Where did that debate come from in the first place? No one is asking why in the world we all accept it as normal that we had a presidential debate on June 27th. I am not convinced that wasn't set up exclusively for this whole charade we're living through now. Someone wanted this guy to
Okay,
fail.
so pause.
They wanted it to be shown that way. I'm convinced.
Okay, pause, because I want to pull this string, okay? Because I want you to answer me the question then. His staff, we know that. They're the ones who came up with this idea because the on-the-record answer is they wanted a game-changing shift in the narrative. Okay, so pull the string for me based on what you just said and answer the question. If Jen O'Malley Dillon, his campaign chair, or one of the other top staffers wanted this, right? I would argue back to you that under that theory, they all lose power if Biden goes bye-bye. So who's the puppet master? Because if Jen O'Malley Dillon or one of the other behind-the-scenes Biden people move the debate specifically to orchestrate him getting out, how do they benefit?
I don't believe anyone that is not directly tied to the previous administration under Barack Obama is in any kind of control. Now, I don't literally mean Barack Obama sitting in a cave petting a white cat in control. I don't mean that. I do believe that there are Obama-affiliated, fundamental Marxist types that have always been steering this ship and ultimately have concluded the old man's got to go. His usefulness is over. And I believe allowing him to march out and give this debate performance was they were fully aware he was going to flop.
Can I tell you why I disagree with that, though, just real quick?
Okay.
Because here's the answer. On the one hand, Obama right now, according to the narrative that's out there, and I see the same stuff that you do on X and other ways, that Obama's pulling the strings. And under the circumstances, right, again, let's talk about what's in the ether out there. The theory goes, well, Obama's pulling the strings and Joe Biden's not in control, and therefore Obama's really doing this. If you advance this theory forward, that they really want him out, and they don't know who ends up, whoever it is, Kamala or anyone else, I don't know that they have the same degree of control. I would argue the opposite on this. If you believe the theory, which I don't necessarily buy into, that Obama's really pulling the strings, the best case scenario is that they keep Biden in that position because they could theoretically pull the strings. If you replace him, you end up with somebody who you don't pull the same amount of strings with, and therefore it is not good for the puppet masters that everybody claims is out there in the ether.
I think Kamala Harris is the exact creature, though. I think she's the exact same creature.
Oh, I don't think so.
Well, I think if you said, well, Kamala, do as I say, or I'll run Michelle Obama against you, I think he does have some leverage. Last time we spoke, Sean, I said I didn't think that there was actually even going to be a debate, but if they did the debate on CNN, it would change hearts and minds. I think I was right on that. I think this debate did change a lot of hearts and minds, both the Democrats and Republicans. The other thing I'll say is the Democrat establishment is a machine. And Jenny, Beth, and I know this front ways and back ways. Their mantra is vote blue no matter who. One of the other things we know is coming out of this debate, Hunter Biden and Jill Biden have been able to use this opportunity to eliminate staff members that have created problems for them in the past. So not only is this giving more leverage to Jill and Hunter, and now we see her with her own little First Lady song at the White House doing all these campaign events. I think that this dynamic is very interesting. And a lot of Americans are traveling right now. It's summertime. Who knows what will happen in the next month? I don't think this is over just yet.
I just want to bring up, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I want the audience to understand a point that Ashely just made that should be underscored. According to reports, Joe Biden had the Marine Corps band write a song, instead of the Hail to the Chief for the Commander-in-Chief, the President, she wanted one for her, an entrance song for the First Lady, and apparently they have obliged. Again, I wish there was time. We have so much to get to today, but I didn't want that to go unsaid because you mentioned it, and I think the audience needs to know exactly what you're talking about. But Jenny Beth, Ashely said, you guys know we go blue no matter who. That's my fear. That's my fear. And I know Chris Stigall has tweeted something along the lines of this as well. But my fear is they will, everyone on our side keeps saying if they replace Joe, they go with Kamala and she's equally unpopular. I don't know. That's true. I think she is unpopular, but I think that they go blue no matter who or whatever, what Ashely said. Yeah. And Jenny Beth, my concern is that I don't know that dynamic. Maybe they say, okay, we got rid of Joe. Everybody rally around Kamala and we'll take all this Hollywood money and do her a makeover or something and make her this unbelievable. And Jeffrey Katzenberg comes in and they orchestrate. I don't know. But what I'm saying is I don't like change. I admit it. I'm 52 years old. I don't like any change.
Well, I think that the base is going to vote Democrat no matter what. And we can say the same thing about the Republican base. They'll vote Republican, I think, almost no matter what. So you've got the people in the middle. And I think that you have every reason to be concerned about change with those people in the middle, because you've got people who they don't like Trump, they don't like Biden. So right now they're comparing the two records together. But you might wind up with a situation where they don't like Trump and they're willing to roll the dice like they did in 2020. Maybe they'll get somebody better if it is somebody other than Biden. And I think
that's what I worry about.
I think it's concerning. I think that if it's Kamala Harris and Gretchen Whitmer, that could be concerning. Trump in Georgia is doing really well with suburban moms, especially even on immigration right now. But that may change if it's two women at the top of the ticket. You just have it's unknown. It is completely unknown. And if I were a Democrat and truly diabolical, I would, which might be, you might have to be a Democrat. But the fact is, here's what I would do next week. If I were going to step down and not run anymore, or even step down as president, I'd do it in the middle of the RNC convention and just blow up the RNC's full week of earned media and get my messaging in there and dominate the news for the next month. And I don't know what's going to happen. What I know is no matter what the Democrats decide, our job in my organization and activists and your audience who watches and listens to you, we have to do every single thing we can to make sure we are securing the election and that we turn out the vote and we win. That is our job no matter what the Democrats do, and we have to keep laser focused on that.
Well, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get more.